Welcome to the show. My name is Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And we are the beings worthy of respect.
And this is Phil Metal Jackson.
Joining us as always is our esteemed co-host and colleague, Mr. Phil Jackson.
Coach, how are you doing today? You look good. Much better than the last time we had you.
Pretty solid.
Nice.
Good.
The last time that we had him on, if you are just joining us, you haven't listened to the first episode, he was caked in vomit and pissing all over my bed.
It's the right thing to do. It must be done.
I don't know if anyone would really agree with that, Coach. You're going to be on your own with there.
I think from a biological perspective, purely biological, his body was relieving itself or expelling the necessary toxins.
There were certainly a lot of things in the vomit and urine that were trying to get out of his body. A lot of living things.
So I spent about 4 hours bringing him to the shower and then scrubbing him off.
That's what you have to do.
I didn't want to do it at all. You should thank Mike because I was not for it, especially once you started swinging a hammer around, just violently flailing at us with it. That made it really difficult.
Phil's got this thing, where he's really into heavy metal, and that includes apparently like carpenter's tools.
And violence. He gets really violent when he drinks. It's like this darkness settles over his eyes, and he is just swinging tools around recklessly.
To be fair, you were the one who invited him into our apartment.
Well,
it was proposed to me without any hesitation.
It was an empty gesture. Everybody does that. He had to know it was empty. Make yourself at home is an empty gesture.
No.
It is.
It is. It really is. Everybody does that. Nobody means it. I didn't think he would actually come by any time, just drop in. These are things that I was not expecting.
He's now getting mail at our apartment, which I guess he went to the post office sometime in the last week and changed his address.
Without a doubt.
And this morning when I tried to wake him up, I shook some of the mail off of him. He swung at me with a socket wrench.
Speaking of tools, he was blasting Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer.
His, I think, vision I could buy into.
Well, he's not metal, and you say you're only into metal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Heavy metal music.
It means he doesn't play metal. Peter Gabriel is not metal.
Phil all the time is just saying stuff like, I'm into metal, like fuck everything but
cigarettes,
metal.
Snakes.
Sex, cigarettes, and snakes.
Like he only cares about metal, but he loves this bullshit music and insists on calling it metal.
This afternoon, while blasting Sledgehammer, Phil was also breaking glass bottles in our driveway, like our whole apartment complex. And I had several neighbors come by and ask, who is this man and why is he here?
Wow. That's a good question.
Did you tell them?
No.
That's part of the problem is that you're not identifying yourself and people can't tell who you are. You just look like a 6'8" homeless man.
We have a whole community here. We have a neighborhood and a lot of people
live
really
here,
love it.
Coach.
And that was a decision that they have to live with.
God, that's a cold-hearted way to
Coach,
explain it.
You live here. This is your home. Oh my God, this is unbelievable.
Speaking of which, he fought our landlord today.
That's what you have to do.
You don't.
You don't have to fight him. It didn't help anything. Our landlord had every right to come up here after you broke all those bottles, and moreover, he showed you in our lease, if you're here for more than 5 days, you have to pay rent. And then mid-speech...
Well, okay, so Phil was just standing there.
Eyes glazed over, flat-footed.
Listening to him talk, and then out of nowhere, he just took a swing, just a vicious right hook, and fell on his face.
Took a brutal beating.
Yeah, well, you didn't take a beating. You fell like a clumsy fool.
He's got really slow hands. I'm not a boxing guy. You were saying, though?
Yeah, really slow. Everyone saw that punch coming a mile away. Leo dodged it, no problem. And you threw yourself off balance. I've never seen anyone take a big cut flat-footed before. Well, here's the other thing is you weren't that drunk when you did it. I mean, you had just woken up. I hadn't seen you take any drinks, so you were relatively sober. Your eyes weren't that glassy, so I was a little unexpected.
Anyway, after that happened, Phil said, you know what? I'm not paying rent, obviously.
We tried to talk to him about it for a while. He was not moving.
But he said, I'm going to take you guys to lunch. So he pulled one of the pieces of mail off his body, and I guess he's a member of the Cabo Cantina membership club.
Yep, a 2-for-1, buy 2 entrees, get the third free.
Buy 2, get 1 free was great because he said, you guys are paying anyway, so I'll just join you.
I'll take the free one.
He is such a freeloader.
So he didn't pay, but he didn't not pay this time.
He's been stealing stuff regularly.
If there's a need for individual action, then go into your game and go into the things you can do well.
Which for a coach includes things like pickpocketing, stealing money from penny jars, stealing the keys from a valet stand when the guy turned around to go get a car.
He took the keys and said, fuck this guy. He didn't even want the car. By the way, Cabo Cantina, he is revered like a god there. I mean, it's like the scene in Goodfellas where he goes to the Copa.
Who's the real man on the block?
We get it. There are certain advantages to being friends with Coach Jackson. That's undeniable. These girls were all over him, with the notable exception of our waitress.
Before we get to the waitress, Phil ordered, as soon as he got there, he has a particular drink that he likes.
2 Long Island iced teas in a fishbowl. 2 fish bowls, excuse me.
You know, when you say make it a double, like you double the alcohol, I think he made it like a quadruple or a sextuple or something like that. He just drinks and drinks and drinks.
Which is a lot of fun.
So, all right. Anyway,
we know how you feel about it.
How old was our waitress, Phil?
Maybe 21.
And
Right.
she was smoking hot.
Don't encourage him. So,
Well, she was.
Phil, just the look in her eyes when you grabbed her ass.
Scared.
Yeah, she was very scared.
She was. So she's standing at her table. It wasn't like Coach pinched her ass when he walked by. He was getting really grabby and aggressive.
The first thing is they can't run.
Okay, I guess. Like when she's taking our order.
She was standing at the table taking her order, and she's about eye level to you because you're a goddamn giant, and you were just massaging her ass. It wasn't a pinch. It wasn't a squeeze. It was a rub, and she was making terrified eye contact with me the whole time. I was super uncomfortable. I thought you were going to throw her on the table and have your way with her. She was fired, by the way.
Yeah, because I guess everybody's got to bow down to Phil Jackson at the
As
Cabo
they should.
Cantina.
You know, that's what you have to do.
Anyway, I mean, what gives you the right to treat people that way, Phil?
20 years of coaching basketball in the NBA.
Amen. Amen. I want it on the record that Coach, he may have struck out at first, but he was ultimately successful.
And there's nothing to do but just enjoy it.
So he spent the rest of the night just
Finger
groping
blasting
women, fingering
waitress.
them, having sex with them.
What's the greatest record that Wilt Chamberlain has?
I don't know, but I feel like you're going to say having sex with 20,000 women because you're an absolute pussy hound.
I think it was the blocks. I think it's the number of blocks.
He definitely finds a way to score. His game is incredible.
Okay, so he's talking about the women.
He's talking about the women. The image that's going to stick with me from today isn't Coach just getting so grabby with that poor young girl. It's going to be Coach sprawled out on a bar, Tommy Bahama shirt open to mid-waist, gold chains, girls licking his chest.
I told Jeannie at one point when I went in and talked to her about it.
Oh, that's right. He's basically married.
Will you shut up about Jeannie?
Phil, what did she say? So not good.
Good. Let's drop it. Let's just move on from Jeannie. Nobody fucking cares.
I think we've basically pinpointed the issue. If I may, I think Phil Jackson has been kicked out of the house because of his behavior.
Is that at all surprising?
Well,
No.
Yeah, I mean, you are the worst house guest ever. Like, I admire you, and already you've worn that welcome out. 1 week.
He's constantly groping girls, staying on other people's couches, and you know what? We're just going to have to live with it.
I'm all for that. End of the day, I still respect the hell out of you, Coach. I'm happy you're here. Make yourself at home. Stay as long as you like.
but that's okay.
We're going to find out what happens with
That's
Phil.
not
I'm
an
sure
empty
there'll be
gesture.
Plenty of more adventures with our favorite NBA head coaching legend, 11-time champion as a head coach, Mr. Phil Jackson. My name is Mike.
And I'm Matt.
Thanks for tuning in.